So this is lesson 35, the second part, B as in boy, in Algebra 1, and we're going to start looking at canceling in this lesson. You've already done it, but we're just going to kind of go into a little bit of theory. For one thing, when you have something like this, you cannot cancel that 4 with that 4. One of the key things to remember is this plus sign ties what's in front of it and what's after it together, so they are one unit. You cannot cancel this unless you had the exact same thing down there, and then the whole thing cancels with the whole thing because they're locked together. You can't separate them at all. So that should help you when you're doing these, and it should remind you that that's one of the reasons why we learned how to factor. Because if I have something like 4 times a minus 3, minus 3 all over 4. Now look what I've got here. The 4 and this here are separated by a parenthesis. There's no sign. There's no plus or minus sign. What this means is it's multiplied by everything in here. So we've got a multiplication sign in here. When you have a multiplication sign, you can cancel. And then we're left with just a minus 3. Now when we have 3 times x minus 2, and that's over x minus 2, well, this whole thing here and this whole thing here can be canceled because there's no plus sign separating this from this 3, and there's no plus sign here. There's nothing else except the x minus 3. If there were a plus sign right here, you could not cancel like we just did. But since there's a multiplication sign, or no sign basically, you can go ahead and cancel. So that becomes helpful when we're trying to simplify some problems. We've got something like 3p plus 3 over 3. Alright, we cannot cancel this with this because this plus sign locks this term and this term together. Even though this is multiplied by 3, because of that plus sign, we cannot separate those. But in the last section, in lesson 34 and in 35a, we talked about looking for things that were common. So because we have a 3 in both of these, we can pull a 3 out and be left with that. Now remember, if you pull everything out of here, there is always a 1 still in there. Because watch what happens. When I distribute this, I get 3p plus 3 times 1 is 3. I get what I originally started with, and that's what you have to have. If I factored a 3 out of there, and I just got 3, and then I got a p there, because I factored this 3 out and I didn't put a 1, when I multiply this, I get 3p. I do not get this 3 here, so that's why you have to have that 1 there. So let's, whoa, went too fast. Alright, alright, so that's over 3. And now, because this is in parentheses, it's not part of this 3. These two are locked together, but because we have parentheses there, this is not a part of being locked together. It's outside the parentheses, so therefore I can cancel that and get p plus 1. Now if I have 3x minus 9x squared as an example 9, then I'm going to look at these. I'm going to make my parenthesis, put a minus sign for that one right there, find out what's common. That's a 3 times a 3, right? So I have a 3 there and a 3 there I can pull out. And I don't have anything at all left here, but I have this 3 here. So I have a 3 there. So this goes away. We're done with that part of it, and we're done with that part of it. Alright, now we look at our x's. I have 1x there and 2 there, so I can pull 1 out, and I'm left with nothing there, but remember, you're always left with a 1, and I'm left with 1x in there, because I pulled 1 out and I have 1 left over. And that's over 3x. Now again, notice, parentheses, numbers are locked together by a minus sign, can't do anything with that, but I have a 3x outside the parentheses that I can cancel with that and get 1 minus 3x. Okay, next example. 5x minus 25x squared over 5xy. Okay, so let's take this. 5x minus 5 times 5x squared over. Okay, so parenthesis with this minus sign there. And let's see what we've got. I've got 1 5 there and I've got 2 there, so I can pull 1 out. I don't have anything there anymore. Cross that out. And I took one of these out, so I still have 1 left in there. I have an x here and an x squared, so I can pull one of the x's out. That goes away, but then again there's nothing there, so you put a 1. And I took 1x out, so I'm left with just 1x there. And that's over 5xy. Okay, so when that happens, because there's no plus signs here, or minus signs, and because this one is pulled out of the parenthesis, I can cross out or cancel the things that are common there, and this y is left because there's nothing to cancel with it, so I get that over y for my answer. Okay, so that is the completion of lesson 35.